On April 1st, 2026, NASA's Artemis II lifted off from Kennedy Space Center, the first crewed mission beyond low Earth orbit since Apollo 17.
5 inches, lit.
Four astronauts aboard the Orion spacecraft rode the most powerful rocket ever built on a 10-day journey that took them farther from Earth than any human in history.
Let me begin by congratulating the team at NASA and our brave astronauts on the successful launch of Artemis II. It was quite something.
But this was never just about technology. Beneath the triumphant countdown and the flawless re-entry lies a deeper question. Are we witnessing the dawn of a new era of human discovery? Or the first chapter of humanity's oldest story? Exploration quietly mutating into something far more permanent. The moment exploration begins its slow, inevitable slide into colonization. Officially, the Artemis program is NASA's roadmap to return humans to the moon and one day send us onward to Mars. Artemis II was the critical dress rehearsal, a full systems test of the Orion spacecraft and its European-built service module. No landing, just a daring high-stakes flyby that pushed every piece of hardware, life support, navigation, radiation shielding, heat shield, to the absolute limit. The mission succeeded brilliantly. Data streamed back in real time. The crew reported crystal-clear views of the lunar surface that no human eye had seen since 1972. They tested new communication protocols and proved the spacecraft could keep 4 people alive and healthy in deep space for the full journey. And with that success came something larger than any single flight, the visible birth of what NASA now openly calls the lunar economy. More than 61 nations have signed the Artemis Accords. The European Space Agency delivered the service module that powered the entire trip. Canada placed one of its own astronauts aboard. Private industry, SpaceX, Blue Origin, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and hundreds of suppliers worldwide are no longer just contractors. They are partners in a growing off-world industrial web. It feels like the best of humanity uniting for a common dream.
Mission together like this, right across all.
Every time our species has stepped into a new frontier, the oceans in the 15th century, the New World, the poles, even the Antarctic, we began with science and wonder. Then came flags, claims, supply chains, and control. The line between exploration and colonization has always been thinner than the maps suggest. Exploration is temporary. You arrive, you observe, you depart. Colonization is permanent. You stay, you build, you extract, you own. And it create. Look closely at the Artemis roadmap, and that line is already dissolving. NASA is not planning sightseeing trips. It is designing Artemis Base Camp, permanent habitats, solar power stations, rovers, and repeated cargo deliveries that will let crews live on the moon for weeks, then months, eventually year-round. The South Pole's water ice is no longer just a scientific curiosity. It is the key to in-situ resource utilization. That ice can be turned into drinking water, breathable oxygen, and rocket fuel. Estimates now place the potential commercial value of lunar resources in the trillions of dollars by the 2040s. Helium-3, rare earth minerals, and metals could power future fusion reactors and lunar industry. The moon is being positioned not as a destination to visit, but as a strategic logistics hub, a gas station and launch pad on the way to Mars. This is infrastructure for sustained human presence, and infrastructure always brings the oldest question in human history. The 1967 Outer Space Treaty is clear on paper. No nation may claim sovereignty over the moon. It belongs to all humankind.
On the moon there, and I got What you should have read is the 1967 Outer Space Treaty.
Yeah,
It says
I didn't do that.
Nobody owns that land.
If nobody owns the lands, how are we going to block out other people from...
It prohibits national appropriation of the moon or any other celestial body. It declares the outer space, including the moon, is global commons, meaning it belongs to everyone, and no nation can claim sovereignty over any part of it. However, if I were to establish a nuclear facility, the nuclear treaty says that no other country can come near that. That's why they're putting a nuclear base. That's the entire purpose of this.
Ah, there we go. I want to see two people on the moon.
But the Artemis Accords introduce safety zones, buffer areas around operations meant to prevent accidental interference. Critics argue these zones, however practical on paper, could quietly function as de facto territories. Meanwhile, China and Russia are building their own international lunar research station, creating two rival power blocks in cislunar space. Private corporations, chasing profit, now sit at the same table as governments. The economic incentives are enormous. When the first commercial mining proposals reach the lunar surface in the 2030s, the common heritage of mankind may become little more than a polite diplomatic phrase. Then there is the human cost, the part rarely shown in the glossy concept art. Beyond Earth's protective magnetic field, cosmic radiation is relentless. High-energy particles slice through the spacecraft and the human body, raising lifetime cancer risk and potential DNA damage. In microgravity, bones lose 1 to 1.5% of their mineral density every single month. Muscles atrophy. Fluids shift upward. Vision blurs. Hearts change shape. 10 days is survivable. Months or years on the moon, or the multi-year journey to Mars, is an entirely different biological gamble. Even the mind pays its price. Isolation in a tin can, months away from real-time help, constant awareness of the void outside the hull.
Pray you never learn just how good it can be to see another face.
These factors can trigger anxiety, depression, and cognitive decline. Studies from the International Space Station already show the psychological toll. Scale that to deep space and the risks multiply. Our biology was never designed for this environment. No amount of engineering fully erases the price we pay to leave home.
Elon wants to terraform Mars, and if you do that, you could then just walk off a spaceship and breathe the air. But if that's Earth Plan B, what did you do to Earth that now you got to go to Mars? If you messed up Earth, but you're good enough to turn Mars into Earth, then you can turn Earth back into Earth.
Yeah. What you just said is a complete delusion. It presumes that we went to the moon for science, but that's not why we went to the moon. We went to the moon because we were at war. Sputnik was not just some orbiting spacecraft, it was a hollowed out intercontinental ballistic missile. The military knew this. That's what founded NASA. NASA's budget for science, it averaged over all these years about 25%. The rest has been for geopolitical purposes.
We didn't just go to the moon because that was the next thing to do. We went to the moon to beat the Russians. And when we got to the moon and we looked over our shoulder and the Russians weren't there, we canceled the Apollo program. 1970, we haven't been back to the moon in 53 years. A geopolitical force operating. Oh, and by the way, NASA doesn't have a rocket that'll get us to Mars. They think they do, but they don't really have one yet. Time to do that. They say, well, does anybody have a rocket? Elon says, I have a rocket. So if Elon rocket goes to Mars, it's not because he sends it there, it's because taxpayers sent it there.
And perhaps the most overlooked consequence is philosophical. When we begin treating the moon as a resource base and Mars as the next new world, something subtle shifts in how we see Earth. Our only home starts to feel less like a singular, irreplaceable miracle and more like one option among many.
Africa and Oceania, we are looking back at you. We hear you can look up and see the moon right now. We see you too. When we burned this burn towards the moon, I said that we do not leave Earth, but we choose it. And that is true. We will explore, we will build ships, we will visit again. We will construct science outposts, we will drive rovers, we will do radio astronomy. We will found companies, we will bolster industry, we will inspire. But ultimately, we will always choose Earth, we will always choose each other.
The urgency to heal climate change, close inequality gaps, and restore Earth's ecosystems can quietly fade when the dominant narrative becomes, we can always expand outward. Meanwhile, the story we tell ourselves about space has been carefully shaped for decades. Hollywood films like Interstellar and The Martian, some produced with direct NASA consultation, portray explorers as heroic pioneers conquering the final frontier. NASA's own branding, logos, and social media campaigns frame every launch as destiny itself. Before we physically claim space, we have already colonized the imagination. The same romantic language once used to justify colonial expansion on Earth, empty lands, manifest destiny, civilizing mission, now dresses up lunar and Martian ambitions. So here is the real question Artemis II leaves hanging in the vacuum. Are we truly expanding humanity's potential for the benefit of every person on Earth? Or are we simply transplanting our oldest patterns of power, profit, and possession to a new celestial stage? The rockets are real. The achievement is breathtaking. The data from this mission will shape the next decade of human spaceflight. But the future we choose to build out there will ultimately reflect the values we decide to carry with us. The countdown has already begun. The choice and the responsibility remains ours.